Good day, everyone. Welcome to another interesting episode of DepEd Hour Teleturuan. Again, this is Ma'am Cynthia Agripa Dades from Cabanatuan East Central School, your teacher presenter in English 6. Our objective for today's Teleturuan is to make connections between information viewed and personal experience. Reading doesn't just consist of reading the words on the page. Comprehension doesn't just magically happen. In fact, experts have come to agree that for real comprehension to take place, readers use one or more strategies to aid in their comprehension. And one of these is making connections. What is making connections? It is a critical reading comprehension strategy that helps us make meaning of what we are reading. When we make connections to the text that we are reading, it helps us to make sense of what we read, retain the information better, and engage more with the text itself. There are 3 ways to make connections. These are text to self, text to text, and text to world. We use this knowledge to find our own personal connections to a text. Let's begin with text to self connections. These are connections where we connect what we are reading to our personal experiences or knowledge. Readers with a wide range of experiences will often be able to make more insightful and complex connections. Questions that facilitate text-to-self connections are: what does this remind me of in my life? Number 2, how is this similar to my life? Number 3, how is this different from my life? The next one, has something like this ever happened to me? Next, how does this relate to my life? And lastly, what were my feelings when I read this? Next is text-to-text connections. These connections are made when we can connect what we are reading to other books that we have read or listened to before. A solid text-to-text connection occurs when we are able to apply what we've read from one text to another text. Questions that facilitate text-to-text connections are: what does this remind me of in another book I've read? How is this text similar to other things I've read? How is this different from other books I've read? Have I read about something like this before? And the last one is text-to-world connections. These are connections where we connect what we are reading to real events, social issues, other people, and happenings going on in the world. We learn about the world from what we hear on TV, movies, magazines, and newspapers. Effective text-to-world connections happen when we can use what we have learned through these mediums or enhance understanding of the text that we are reading. Questions that facilitate text-to-world connections are: first, what does this remind me of in the real world? Second, how is this text similar to things that happen in the real world? Number 3, how is this different from things that happen in the real world? Number 4, how did that part relate to the world around me? Now, let me test your understanding of what I have discussed. Read the following experiences, then tell whether its connection is text to self, text to text, or text to word. Are you ready? Kyla is reading a science fiction story. In the story, she thinks that what happens to the characters could also happen on Earth if people don't start recycling more. What kind of connection is this? Your answer is? Very good. It's text to world. Number 2. Leo is reading a book about Hispanic culture. It reminds this of his friend Robbie and the food his family makes. The kind of connection used is? You are right. It's text to self. For number 3, Ken is reading a book about rockets. He thinks that something he read contradicts a fact he saw in another book. So, he make a note to look it up when he gets home. The kind of connection here is? You are correct again. It's text to text. For our number 4, Eddie is reading a book where a character visits a loved one in the hospital. It reminds Eddie of when he visited his grandmother in the hospital. The kind of connection here is? You are right. It's text to self. And lastly, Wei is reading a book about a communist society. It reminds him of the government in a particular country. What kind of connection is this? Your answer is? Correct! It's text to world. How many of you were able to get the perfect score? Congratulations! So, that ends my discussion, and I hope you learned something new today. Again, this is Ma'am Cynthia saying, the more you read, the more you know. The more you know, the smarter you grow.